Welcome back to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl. In my research, I found an article by Theo Ferguson, the founder of Vital Systems. This is the first-hand experience with economic and social interdependence with the results of well-being, joy, and prosperity. He did a study in 3 indigenous communities in South America and found that these groups live fully integrated with spiritual and are completely interconnected and interdependent. They totally honor this connection and understand the consequences of not honoring this connection. Because they live interdependently with spirit and each other, many live with qualities of being fully present, awake, aware, and alive. This ritualistic expression gratitude to the spirit of life, in other words, God, for all the blessings of sustenance, personal relationships, and community's well-being. They share their chicha tea after their wives, chew the chicha and spit the pulp into a bowl to make the tea. To me, this is very powerful and trustworthy. The men honor their women. After sharing the tea, they share their dreams. They listen and interpret to each other's dreams. In essence, these indigenous communities listen to their dreams from the spiritual realm and allow it to guide behavior and action into conscious reality. Theo then says, so I encourage each of you as leading actors in creative, sustainable economic systems to consider activities based on deep connectedness with the spirits of life, as well as interdependence and presence. I challenge you and all the members of your community to respond with mindfulness to obstacles, which celebrating the present moment. Let's value and honor the health, vitality, and delight of individuals and communities everywhere so you can all thrive. Can we find ways to integrate these ways of living into our social and economic systems? He suggests we learn from our indigenous elders and practice these principles now. I am very honored and have a wow guest this evening, Dr. Richard Allen, DC. This is the second part of a 2-part discussion with Dr. Richard. Dr. Richard Allen, a healer, has been a licensed chiropractor since 1979 and is gifted in the art of kinesiology, muscle testing, and is certified in myofascial release technique. Richard has perfected his art of detecting unconscious blocks, which are the saboteurs of the way of our success. He is gifted with hands that transform bodies from being energetically asleep to wide awake and functioning optimally. Dr. Richard has had his own radio show out of San Francisco, KEST 1450 AM, from 1995 to 2012, where he had weekly talks on health, relationships, and finances. For the last 10 years, he has led workshops on how to use fundamental tools and new perspectives to create a life so it maintains sustainability with more fun and ultimate success for his clients. Richard helps highly motivated and creative business leaders achieve greater levels of success with ease and certainty. For the past 33 years, as a chiropractor healer specializing in spinal atonement and energy alignment, Dr. Richard has helped thousands of people achieve their better health by developing a deeper connection to their body. This enables them to come into vibrational harmony with their true innate being. Most of his clients work themselves too hard, and Dr. Richard teaches them how to access their own inner wisdom and guidance to come into full integration and realization of their innate gifts, talents, and abilities. Dr. Richard works with his clients in person and over the phone to customize a program specifically for them. Richard's processes allow his clients to unravel the misguided belief systems that compromise their confidence, access and strengthen their own internal guidance system, and he teaches them to develop a relationship and dialogue with their body so they can interpret the information it is providing for them. His contact information will be on during and at the end of the show.
And I'm blessed.
Yes.
But that's something that we can all have.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm on a journey here to touch as many people as I can, to also help awake them too, to know that they can have, you know, the pot of gold that looks like it's way over there, over across the rainbow. No, it's actually right here.
Well, it's here and here.
Yeah.
It starts in the mind.
Yeah.
And then it solidifies itself in the body and the heart.
Mm-hmm. But the mind has to be able to conceive it, right?
Absolutely.
And oftentimes our minds we allow our minds to play so small and filled with so much negative, judgmental criticism and condescending things.
Yes, and that's totally non-unconditional love.
Oh yeah, it's the opposite. So when I first studied with my spiritual teacher, he said, the longest journey you'll ever take is actually the shortest distance. And I went, what?
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that before.
Oh yeah. And he said it's like from
right
your
here.
mind,
oh, it's right
from your mind to your heart.
Yeah.
It's only 12 inches, the shortest distance, and it'll be the longest journey.
Yeah.
Who here is brave enough to take it?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of courage, because in that journey, you're going to meet what some people call the shadow stuff,
yes.
the stuff we don't want to see about ourselves.
That's right.
The place where we hate.
And we need to embrace it
all.
all.
The place where we hate, the place where we're cruel, the place where we do get jealous, the place where we don't wish people well. And the truth is, we all have that at times.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the complete...
We're human beings.
We're human. We have everything. We have the full scope of every emotion, thought, and feeling. And we can't deny any of it. Just because I can sense within me that I have an energy of cruelty, it doesn't mean I have to act it out.
Absolutely.
I can just notice that, oh yeah, there's a cruel fiber in there, but you know what? I'm not interested in giving it any energy.
Yeah, and you just let it go.
Let it go.
Yes.
I notice it, say hi,
thing.
and then what would I prefer to do? What I prefer to do is be in love and share love with another human being. That feels so much more joyful and heart-opening and expansive for me, because when I go into cruelty, I can almost feel my body just start to contract.
Tense up, yeah, absolutely.
And tense.
Yeah.
And that's not a good feeling.
No.
See, here's the thing, what I've learned is, like, to really receive money and love both, and I know they're connected, our beings have to be relaxed. And in a relaxed state, every fiber of our being expands.
Yes.
And in that expansion, we touch the universal energies. And really, the universal energies are very benevolent. And they're truly here to support us in all the ways.
Divine intelligence.
Yeah, in all the ways that will bring us to our greatest maximum optimal potential, which is to be in a pure, graceful, loving state of being, where we can access all our gifts, talents, and ability and use them not only to better ourselves, but to better the environment and the people and the animals of this lovely planet.
Yes, and there's so many, right here where we live, it's paradise. You know, we have so much wealth that's just when you walk outside.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not a money factor, actually, that you don't think about, because there's so much beauty here. So that's just one avenue or one element of wealth. So, you know, some of my questions you've already answered, because I think you, in your healing that you do, you apply spiritual principles in every facet of it.
I do.
So
when I look at life, what isn't spiritual? Everything is.
Yeah.
Every single aspect of our being is spiritual, because we're made of energy. And energy is the light that is generating, that is always rejuvenating, and is always creative.
And that's why I love having this show, because I want, especially coming from a man, this is so important, because everybody can access this at any time. Mm-hmm. And as you said, it takes courage. And I know 22, 23 years ago, when I started doing some really deep work, the first thing they said to me, well, you've got a lot of courage, and it does, but you know, it's freeing.
It is.
It's called freedom. Being free to be your soul, you know, your soul self, your authentic self, without all the layers of garbage that, you know, you get as a child. Because I don't think any person on this planet is free of having some sort of hurt or abuse or neglect or something. You know.
We all have our story.
Yeah, everybody does.
Everyone.
So, but when you can free yourself of all that, and you know, it's a lifelong process too. I mean, it's like you get to one level and then you get to this, like I was saying earlier in my intro, it's like you get, you know, there's always something that's going to come up, but it's that when you're on this path of spirituality and integration with your body, your mind, and your spirit, it's so much easier to deal with challenges. Because like for me, I just know that things work out no matter what. And there's a higher reason when things don't look like they're going in the way that I want them to.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the universe, divine intelligence, knows better than me. So I surrender. Have you ever had that? I mean,
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I have this little boy inside of me that when I want something, he wants it. You know, and when I don't get it, he wants to go into like throwing a little tantrum, and I have to talk to him and say, listen, you know, I know you didn't get what you wanted right now, but it only means that something just as good or even better is right around the corner. Just get really excited because it's on its way.
Yes,
and it changed the whole mood.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I approach it too. It's like, okay, this didn't work like at the time I wanted it, because I'm working on my patience, you know, but I think, okay, I know that there's something better. And maybe I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of it. Yeah. So surrendering.
That's a great point, because to have patience is monumental. And talking about patience as a virtue, I think it's even greater than that.
Yeah, I do too.
Because especially in our very fast-paced society, where we just want to pop a pill and have instant result.
No, not anymore. No.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I know some people live their life like that.
It's like if you look at, like, you can't make a baby in one day. It's like the baby has to first be, you know, conceived, and then the gestation, and then you have 9 months of pregnancy, and then this beautiful child appears. It takes 9 months. Yeah, I'm sure you do as a mother.
Yes, and I had morning, noon, and night sickness for 8 months.
Isn't that fascinating? I was just talking to a lady, a friend of mine, who had, she's 5. She hasn't had her baby yet. She's 5 months pregnant. She's hardly had 1 day of sickness.
Well, she's healthy. I had a lot of stress going on at the time, so I know that's why. I know that's why.
That'll do it.
And I pray that it hasn't totally integrated in my daughter, you know, with that stress during that gestation. I was trying to overcompensate for it, so she, you know, would be healthy. I mean, she was a healthy baby. Yeah. But emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you know, but.
Well, you know, that really brings up another good point, and I see this a lot in the clients that I work with, is that I just saw this new client the other day, and she was about 27, had her first child, only child, a boy, and she had an episiotomy, and it seemed like she had a couple of spinal taps. And from that, the combination of the spinal tap and the formaldehyde and the mercury and the anesthetic, all of it went straight to her nervous system, very sensitive nervous system. And she got like a Meniere's disease, like just really spacing and almost like fainting often. Like
what disease?
Meniere's, they call it.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. And very debilitating for her. And she got better in the years, but still, when she came to me, she says, I get chronic fatigue so easily. If I have a little too much excitement, my whole nervous system, I start to shake. If I have too many clients coming to me, I feel too much pressure and it freaks me out and I start shutting down and I can't handle it. Yeah. So we did a session, an hour session on just rebalancing her nervous system, taking out energetically some of that anesthesia and some of the judgments that she had locked in there. She called me today and she said, Richard, I don't know what you did, but the last 3 days I have been euphoric. And she was getting horrible migraines.
Well, that's why I call you the wow doctor.
Yeah, she was getting migraines like every other day. I haven't had a headache. I feel euphoria. I have more energy. More clients are coming to me. And I think that I may need to come see you again soon so I can see what the next level is, so I can handle all these people, because the floodgates are opening up. And this is what happens often when people work with me. It's such a radical shift in their ability to have more presence, to have more power, to be commanding themselves. And it's a certainty, because when you integrate the spiritual body with the physical body, It's like a man and a woman
Yes.
coming together.
Yes.
It's like the beautiful merging of soul and body. There's not anything that our bodies can experience that's more exquisite than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when that happens, it's like it's almost like the gates of heaven open up.
Yes.
The gates of paradise
They
open
do.
up for you.
They do.
And I see these miracles happen day in and day out. I love it. I feel so blessed to do what I do.
Yeah.
And I get paid well for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And people, when they see the results that they get and their life changes, I've had one client come to me and say, like, I had one session with you and I feel like it was worth more than 15 years of clinical
wow.
therapy. When you think about it, people spend tens of thousands of dollars on that kind of therapy over the years, and sometimes 1 or 2 sessions at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
They have amazing results.
Well, you're in alignment with that. So you are blessed to have that healing power. And my experience, that's why I introduced you as the Wow Doctor when
I
Wow
like
Doctor.
Put that on my card.
What's the conversation that you have when you're healing, assisting and healing people around money? What's the conversation, or you don't even have to do it in a session, but what's the conversation that you have around wealth?
The conversation I have around wealth
Yes.
is that each and every one of us, it's our divine nature to have as much wealth as we choose to have. When I start asking people about if they're not having the wealth, I kind of ask them the same questions you asked me. So, how were you raised, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was mom and dad like? Were there people in your community who had a lot of money or who didn't? Like, what was your overall viewpoint about it? And how have you formed judgments around money? So a lot of people see money almost as the enemy.
Oh, yeah.
I was working on a lady just last week, and she said, wow. I said to her, if you let money into your life, is it going to ruin everything? And she said, oh my God, how did you know that? That's exactly what I think.
See, that's the intuitive
Yeah.
part of you
Yeah.
that is a blessing. And that's what I call your wow factor. Because you did hone into something that happened about 10, 11 years ago that I didn't forget it, but I did forget it. And I hadn't really healed that. So you tapped into that.
I did.
Yes, you did. And that experience was very freeing because it allowed me, I just want to get all that out of the way.
Well, we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be free and to be who we're supposed to be in our
Exactly.
passion and our purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Dr. Phil. We all know about Dr. Phil. He coined that phrase, what defining moment did you have in your life that is creating everything from that point that may not be working for you anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what I look for. It's like we've all had our defining moments when something was created that had a glitch in it, or at least we perceived it that it had a glitch or something went wrong, and then it sort of gets hardwired into the operating systems of our body, and then we start running our lives based on that, at least part of it anyway. And often
Ready for it. But
yeah. So what happens with other people, and I'm glad you brought it up about awareness, because it really is true. When you have some awareness, then you can change. But some
first
people,
you need to be aware of what you're thinking and doing. I mean, that's a pattern. I mean, most people do things automatically that have been programmed for years.
Right.
And it's like, no, wait a minute, this isn't healthy. It didn't work for me. I'm not happy about the way my mother, talked to me, and told me she hated me one time when my father went away to Japan for a couple months or 4 months. That hurts, but it wasn't, at the time I took it personally. I didn't know. But later, as I was getting healthier, I realized my mother really was a sick person. She was sad. She didn't know how to love herself.
Mm-hmm. So, and there's so many different gradations of how we interpret love. Yeah. But for a lot of us, when we were little, love looked like it was, abusive, over-controlling, manipulative, very conditional. And if those patterns, they get set in very deep as we get older, if something doesn't shift for us to see that that's just a pattern and we don't have to live that way, then we'll marry into or go into relationships that are very similar.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that, you know, until you learn the lessons, the same, and it may be a different form, keeps coming at you, so until you choose to learn it.
Oh,
you know,
definitely.
the pattern will keep repeating
Repeating.
and repeating
Yeah, it's like
until finally one day, I get it now, I get it.
Right. It's like you get caught in a revolving door and you can't get out of it.
So we could go on, I know, for a long time.
We could. There's so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about.
We're just scratching the surface
I
here.
know, and I think I'm going to have you back.
Wow.
If you would like to,
I would love to.
Because this is all integral, you know, on what you are doing and
what you're doing
and what I'm doing.
Yeah, of course.
So, but you know, I want to move on a little bit.
Okay.
I would love to keep going. You know, I'm sure we could probably go for a couple hours at least. But what I wanted to ask you is, what would you suggest, or, you know, I don't want to say advice, but what would you suggest with all your wonderful healing experience to our viewers to help them integrate the spirit and the wealthiness?
It's a very specific question. And I'm going to look for, you know, a statement or an affirmation that would apply, that could apply to everyone. And what I'm sensing is an image of like a beautiful diamond that's like flawless. Because the truth is we all are like beautiful diamonds and we're flawless. We're not broken.
Mm-mm.
We don't need fixing. We don't need saving.
From the soul level.
Yeah.
You know, we're all perfect
We're all
beings,
perfect.
who we are.
Yeah. So if you could imagine like a nice diamond, almost the size of your heart, beautifully cut, flawless, right in the heart, and let that like radiate out, just beautiful, shining light energies from that, going out from all angles, and just sense that and feel how beautiful that really is and how it makes you feel. That energy alone will start attracting not only the prosperity of extended and expanded love, but also money.
And it's really so simple.
And it's so simple.
And but yet it's so complicated, you know?
Well, you'd have to be aware and remember to do it.
Yes, and that's part of, you know, like the first thing I do in the morning is my gratitude. And there's more than enough.
Yeah.
There's more than enough.
And you know what's funny, Cheryl? It's like we have all these, I'll call installed or imprinted programs and conditions, how we operate, how we run, that we get from day one.
Yeah.
We get it from family, from society, from church and religion, from school, from teachers, and we just accept them. And we think, well, it's normal, it's natural, right? But we
That's
get to
a whole nother subject.
Right, but we get to the point where then we realize, well, they're not really working for us, and then we go into rebelling and wanting to push them away.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is, like, if we've allowed all these installed or imprinted energies to come in us, then why don't we install something in us that we actually might like?
Yes, or
Like,
love.
And love.
I mean, and love.
Like a beautiful, flawless diamond, and see that as the essence of who we really are.
And we do, and I think a lot of people need that visualization. That's a
important.
good, yeah. I mean, I use the pearl, that's the oyster.
Okay.
You know, because the sand gets in the oyster and it rubs and rubs until it makes this beautiful pearl. And the metaphor is the rub, you know, which is the challenges, which are opportunities.
They are. And the more rub you have, the bigger pearl it produces.
Yes. that is a understatement. Yeah. That is a profound understatement. Oh, Richard,
Cheryl.
Thank you so much for being here, and
thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. I don't even want to say goodbye, but our time is up.
Okay.
And
well, it's been
I
wonderful.
just really appreciate you and the information that you've shared.
Thank you
and
so
I look
much.
forward to having you come back.
I do too.
Good.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Our tip for the day is, even though you think and feel you are not ready for the next level of your awareness and consciousness, the right circumstances and situations will appear. This applies to unconditional love, wealth, and well-being, and frankly, everything in your life. And this will show you that you are ready for the next level beyond your current elevation of awareness. Yay! And life goes on in this sequence, thanks to the divine order and intelligence. I'll leave you with this: a new look at old attitudes. I can change. I can live out my imagination instead of my memory. I can tie myself to my limitless potential instead of my limiting past. By Stephen Covey. Change. It has the power to uplift, to heal, to stimulate, surprise, open new doors, and bring fresh experience and create excitement in your life. Certainly, it is worth the risk. And that was by Leo Buscaglia. Remember, he was Dr. Love. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is our faithful servant, by Albert Einstein. So never give up on your pursuit of your purpose and passion, and even if you don't know what that is, work with integrity and have a positive attitude wherever you work, and especially with your family and friends. Don't talk about other people. This just reflects who you are and aren't. Be grateful for what you have, who you are, and be grateful for your freedom, and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds the mind and your body temple. And don't forget to feed your spirituality with meditation and prayer and with unconditional love. And firstly, love yourself unconditionally and share your abundance and wealth with others. Thanks for watching, and please support Marin TV that brings you these messages. Bye for now, until next time.